And it's Monday time. I am Mr. Brad Chester, the youngest man in 40K.
I'm
And
Brian Horton, the second youngest man in 40K.
and Crowley just disappeared and then came back from the warp out of nowhere.
I'm Stephen Crawley, the oldest man. Well, it feels like it after 5 rounds of 40K.
And Tom's just not going to introduce himself. He's like, I refuse to let anyone know.
Tom's the spring chicken at 40K. He's a 12-year-old prodigy.
I refuse to let Brad tell me what to do, so I'm not even control that's the Brad Chester.
I love everything about this. We had some stuff happen this weekend, guys. It was an exciting weekend. Tom, you tried to bring back my title of Prime Minister of Canada at Studs and Snotty.
I'm co-prime minister.
Co-prime minister? You are the duo.
They gave two best generals.
They said, look, as long as we have one Canadian, the last year's rule underneath Brad's tyrannical regime was too much. We need at least one Canadian.
Well, honestly, though, the person who actually did take #1 spot in ITC points there, Sam, absolutely amazing player, played his heart out, had some amazing games, rocked it out. I mean, when you watch the finals that was streamed with him and TJ, he just dominating performance by him. He even gets someone like TJ. So, and it was his birthday, which was really cool. So when he got his trophy, the whole hall erupted into singing him happy birthday, which is kind of cool. But I mean, he won his first super. I don't know, it wouldn't be super, it would just be a major, right?
Major on that
birthday. Yeah.
He's a great player, man.
He's a fantastic player. He's top tier talent and an even better sportsman. So couldn't be more happier.
Ooh, hold on. I got the notice from John. Brad, hope you're ready for light terrain this weekend. That player packet from Shiloh is, let's call it, an adventure. And I have done exactly what I tell everyone not to do, because I say prepare. But I'm going out to Blake and we're hanging out, and I have absolutely no idea what the terrain set or anything else is for Shiloh. I have decided to go to Cherokee, but let's talk about the weekend. We had Tom keeping Tau strong. The greater good was rocking it out.
My last tournament play for Tau for a while, 6-0. I'm be honest with you, I totally forgot about this tournament until about a week before it. And then they're like, yo, are you still coming? I was like, oh yeah. So I'd signed up with it for TJ forever ago, and I just completely forgot about it. And I caught myself in like a really weird situation. I'm really glad they messaged me when they did, because like I was gonna send my Tau army to Butters that night. And I was like, hey man, I gotta actually keep this army for like another week. Because he's gonna fix it up from all the stuff that happened at LVO with it, and he's gonna probably play for a while because I'm switching to guard. And so you know what, the guard's not ready. Gonna pull top again.
I have to give another shout out to Lyle. Lyle, my bad. TSA was not happy with his army on the way back. No broken models on the way there, and then apparently they World Cup soccered it on the way back.
No, did they really?
Yeah, there was some broken stuff.
You were so careful packing that up.
I know, it's the most careful I've ever been, and I opened that stuff up and I was trying to put everything in. Like I'm like, oh no bueno.
Yeah. It was me, you, and Britt packing it up, because you're like, yo, I need help make sure this is done right.
Yep.
So
it was the three of us. It was
that's
Britt,
okay.
myself, and you.
I don't know what happened because I didn't check mine in. Mine actually went on carry-on, and when I opened it up for this event, like half the shit was destroyed, even worse than I thought it was. So I don't know what happened. But yeah, it sucks. So I play with a half broken army at the GT, but it was a great event. Honestly, I've never been to a Canadian event before, and if that's the standard, holy shit, they got some good events up there. Train was beautiful. I think Dustin's one of the coolest heels I've ever met. The dude's got just a glowing personality and the charisma to go with it.
They run a smooth ship too. I enjoyed the tournament a lot last year.
But, yeah.
They turn a dime. We had some good stuff. We have a very out there meta. I think that so many things are viable right now. England, we had Dark Angels and Demons both go 6-0 at the Beachhead Brawl with 123 players.
Give me 1 second real quick,
Yep,
Brad.
go ahead.
Hey guys, I see a couple in here. Everyone give us some chat in here and tell us what the worst story you guys have come back from tournament, the worst things happened in the Army, and I'm gonna pick the best one and read it, and we'll talk about it. But let's hear some horror stories to give some support to Lyle and Brad. But,
Garrett said they had to take 2 days fixing all that stuff. It's crazy to me because we packed the crap out of that. I put fragile stickers on every single piece of that also. And I had 20 pounds of bubble wrap jammed everywhere. You had to go above and beyond with bruising that. I feel like those guys saw that fragile and went, challenge accepted. It's crazy to me. Is there, this is a question I want. We're supposed to be talking about the weekend recap, but of course you got me sidetracked on this. What is the best way to travel with a case if there's a possibility of your case getting checked? Because there always is, you know what I mean? Because planes are just literally packed to the brim now. I feel like every plane I'm on now is maximum stuffed.
I think you have to have magnets. It's better than the old Battlefilm trays because they fit rocks in that Battlefilm tray. The models just break. So I think magnets the best way, personally, in my opinion. But remember that backpack you used to call it my
Spaceman?
Yeah. I used to love that thing because I could fit so much stuff in there and it was all secured. Until we got in that one plane. I think we were going to BFS that year, and they were like, "Yep, you have to check that in. They won't fix." They had the little mini, the little. What the fuck kind of plane was that? Like a little pond jumper boat or a plane we were on. So now I got that one size. It's like a little box and it fits everything. I love it. But that, in my personal opinion, I think that's the best.
Cable War, small case, magnetized. Granted, the most I've been able to fit into it is a Tyranid double Harpy list, which was very tight. But it fits underneath the seat in front of you. So no matter what you are checking me.
The A case I use is a little box carry-on, and I fit a hammerhead, 3 riptides. I had 25 crisis suits in there, and a little box I had all my crew and drones in. So it was jam-packed, but it does a trick.
I agree now. Like I was saying, we upgraded priorities, so you always have overhead. I think that I'm going to have to at least go plus at that point in time, so you get the early on. Because I was late enough, back of the plane that they just went, there's zero chance that's going on as your carry-on.
Oh, I always make sure I'm zone 1 for loading. I pay extra for it because I want to get up there first and make sure I have a spot for my stuff.
Yeah, it was crazy.
To answer Marcus's question, you do not have to bribe me with tacos, sir. David Brielle has convinced me that I need to make the trip down to the Alamo GT this year because I need to go all win it.
Whoa. Is there going to be tacos, though?
There's always tacos, bro. It's the Alamo GT.
I mean, you may not want to be bribed with the tacos, but I want some tacos.
Wait. 2 things real quick. One, Jamie Beaton, the OG member from New Zealand who lives out in New York, literally had like you went to a store and bought jewelry or something, those I don't know, I don't know, the material, they look like gift bags, right, where you hand someone. He has an entire army in 2 of those, which was hilarious. And the second thing is Corey said he went to a tournament in Mexico and bought a chihuahua from a shop there. When I got home, it was acting strange. I took it to a vet and he told me it was a sewer rat.
I hate when that happens.
Brad's like, hey, Web, that's happened to me a lot.
All right, I'm sold on this tournament. Marcus says he's got tacos and good wine.
Let's get to the meta stuff. I think I interrupted you too far. People want to hear. Let's hear Brad's analysis of the meta.
One of the things I'm excited about, we said that Marines had a lot of different variations that they could play, and that's been playing out so far. Dark Angels took a 60% win rate and 2 tournaments over the weekend. So won over 120 players. We had obviously yourself doing well with Tau, but Tau did take a big downturn in the win rate over the last 2 weekends. So that is true. I got a little sidetracked because I saw highlights. You can't post up shiny colors, Lyle, and make it so that I won't read your comment immediately. So you know that I was destined to do that. But the army that I'm really impressed by and I thought was going to be a big deal coming into the new meta, Gene Stealer Cult, 67% win rate, 63% over the last 2 weeks. And that's with a significant amount of games played, 72 in the last 2 weeks. What do you guys think about that? I think that army's super legit.
Well, actually, let's get Brian talking. Brian's been a little bit quiet. Let's give this man a chance to get his thought and process in here.
So, as someone who plays GSC, I sent Brad a list the other day, and we chit-chatted about it, and I was debating between Custom Cult and Pauper Prince, and after giving a couple test games, I was like, Pauper Prince is definitely better of the two. It's just so many bodies, so much guns, and everything punches up. It's just tough in a field that's taking so many just big killing guns. When you unload with Meltas into a 20-man squad of GSC, I don't really care all that much. They were absolutely fantastic. I mean, they've just been amazing, and we were all right on the Marines that there was going to be some good win rates on stuff, especially with Iron Hands having a good, floor, as Brad has said it a few times. And watching the win rates is kind of reflecting what we all thought.
I'm excited. The thing is that I think my thing about GSC is I feel that so many armies went to, because of the new arcs, almost completely abandoned except for a unit or two of infiltrators here and there between troops. And they just steal primary, and their secondary game is so strong. You know what I mean? So you can just get murdered off the board and still just score 100 points. They have great primary secondary game. So I think that they're going to play pretty well. I was actually surprised at the win rate of Orcs. I thought Orcs were going to be higher. I mean, we're only 2 weeks in, so it is what it is on that. But we've had quite a few games played with Orcs, 147, one of the most of anybody played. And they're just basically at 50%.
Actually, one list I saw that I played against at the GT, and I didn't really picture it to be goodness meta, but watching how his power, I was like, I could see how that could be dangerous. I played Tim round 1, which was hilarious, because my last game of 40K I played was against Tim at LVO, like 2 weeks ago. He's the guy that knocked me out in round 6. Great player. We got drawn round 1 at this GT, and he walks over and was like, "Man, are you serious? How did we get each other round 1 of all these people here?"
It's a continuation of that game.
Yeah. And he played MSU style custodes, and every time I see people talking about custodes right now, they're talking about running 2 big bricks of the wardens or whatever. And he played MSU with like 3 bike squads, 3 of the Venetary, and 2 single Luris Terminators, and a couple of troops. And the named character, I can't think of his name right now. Trajan, and a bike commander. And that list slaps. Brenton was talking my way home. He's like, dude, I watched you play a tournament. It seems like you had not relatively hard games, except for that first one was brutal. I'm like, yeah, I probably should have lost that first game. Came down to dice in a couple situations. And Tim pilots it like a madman. I'd say he's a great strategic player. Top tier team, baby boy. Love you. But he pilots it like a madman. And I think watching Tim play that, I think once he gets more comfortable with the meta, it's like, and if he doesn't roll like shit, that's gonna be a danger list in his hands. And I'll see people. We'll see people copying it. And I wasn't really picturing that list for some reason.
I think one of the reasons that we're in a weird place for orcs and or custodes by extension is that things that solve them. I know this is a reverse of my argument from previous weeks. Solve orcs, right? If you're ready for Marines, you can solve orcs pretty well because they're around the same profile and same extension. And by them being such much of a melee faction right now, you're in this really weird caveat of you're not doing what Deathwing does. That's what people are now like, oh my god, what do I do against 30 Terminators? Which is
kill everything else.
Well, yes, but that buys you 2 turns, and then suddenly you have a Terminator infestation in your face.
And Terminator infestation, you got to call the exterminator at that time, bro.
Right.
And maybe I've been spoiled with Tau too long, but when I see terminals, I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah,
You're not gonna charge.
that is still one of my favorite conversations on that. We're talking about how to beat chaos, and I'm like, Tom, the chaos terminators, they put a ton of characters and everything else with that big group thing of terminators. It's really hard to kill. Just murder everything else because they have kind of a weak backfield. And Tom goes, nothing can't be killed by Tau. I'm making it my point to kill the terminators. I'm like, but you don't have to. He's like, but I'm going to.
Challenge accepted.
I'm like, all right.
It's not a conversation. He looks as a Tom. Listen to me. Just and let's be honest. Yeah, I've been sober for 4 months, but this is still back when I was still drinking. I'm a little blitz, and Brad's like, listen, Tom, you need to listen to me. Like, you know, when you play this list, make sure you do this. Don't kill the terminators at all. Just kill everything else. Easy win, Tom. Just kill everything else. I'm like, what? He goes, the terminators can't be killed in one turn, and you're gonna lose the game because you can't kill them. I'm like, oh, challenge accepted.
I was like, it wasn't a challenge.
You're like, Tom, stop. Listen to me. I was like, no. The gauntlet has been, so you slapped me in the face already with these. Like, what do you, no. I was like, these terminators will die turn one.
Anyway, so Crawley, on the meta, what do you think's the healthy stuff? What are you intrigued by right now?
So, listening to Tom and needing to channel my learning to play more aggressively, I've actually started playing Tau myself. I actually played Tau into the Oops Terminators list, and I tried to Tomabunga it is to kill a unit of Terminators, but when they have the banner for -1 damage, that doesn't quite work as much as Tom would have suggested that it did.
Did you have a conversation with your dice though?
No.
You're on something here. Wait. This is a good conversation to have. Did you ask your dice to perform well? That's what I want to hear. Yes or no?
No, I did not.
Then this is on you. This seems like it's a personal issue.
I will definitely enforce it. But the game went well. But I think that right now we're moving towards an interesting space. Watching Tom and some other practice games that I've seen recently with mortars go burr with the 4 units of mortars surrounding with all full rerolls and the +1 AP, +1 strength, +1 to hit. I think that it creates this really weird dichotomy that we have where survivability is going to be king for some factions. And I think Marines play that really well. The issue of speed is the largest problem, right? So if you take a combined arms Dark Angels approach where you're taking both, your like elements aren't necessarily as tanky, so you'll have only Terminators left.
Honestly, there's a list I played against round 5, Jeremy Atkinson's list. It is, even though I'm like so on the guard train right now, the 2021 version of me that played Dark Angels for a whole year is like, oh man, I wish that list would have done what it does now back when I played. Like that list it looks so juicy. Like having 3 tack bikes, which I ran before, but having those 3.
Those tornadoes do work in that list, man.
No. He had the storm strikes with us. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I do want to hit the Corey was like really down on basically saying anybody can beat CSM right now, but they actually had like a decent win rate. The thing is that they've had very few games played. Like all the people that were playing Emperor's Children and Creations of Bile, like they had 11 and 21 games respectively. That was in the hundreds as of right before, the end of Nephilim there.
Well, I can tell you why, Brad. I'm gonna quote a really famous movie. Have you ever seen the movie Titanic?
This Friday with Brittany.
Oh. So when the ship's going down and everyone's just jumping off of it, and you have like that one crew that's just sitting there still playing their instruments while everyone else is just fighting for their lives. That's why there's so few games. There's a few people trying to stay in that sinking ship, and everyone's like, "Yo, I'm good. I'm going a little dinghy over there."
You're like, not so much. I don't know. I don't know if they just feel terrible or what. I mean, look, the word like Creations of Bile, barely any games with 63% win rate. Emperor's Children had a tasty 19% win rate. Probably not the best. But Word Bearers had a 54. It was a little all over the place. There's just not that many games played with them. I guess it was the sinking ship on that one.
Well, I think a lot of people jumped off with Armor of Content because they felt like they lost a lot of their durability. with that, and the fact that their point cost is more for roughly the same stats as what a Space Marine is, didn't lend to them in favor, where you're getting outnumbered and outgunned by a standard Space Marine who's cheaper.
I think also too, you're going to see a lot of players excited to play Marines again because Marines are playable. There are a lot of people that just like playing them.
It's the most popular faction, laughably, hands down. You know what I mean? So when Marines are good, Marines are the most populous even when Marines were bad. You know what I mean? We're still seeing a ton of Marines, let alone now that they're fully playable in a top tier army. So,
Tyranny still had a pretty good win rate, didn't they? If I remember looking at that correctly,
they ended up at 43. They started very strong, and then they had 2 tournaments that were really bad.
Okay.
I mean, I also think, I made a joke about Titanic, but I think it's a little bit too early to try to turn a new meta. There's still a lot of top players who haven't played yet. And I mean, even looking at Tau had a really rough weekend compared to what they've usually been. And a lot of top players that was keeping that win percentage up ain't playing right now.
Yeah, I mean, people do migrate depending on.
Andy, you definitely can. So, I'm kind of glad you said that because a lot of people don't realize that. I always say I roll hot stuff, but like you're saying, people take the factor that I give myself +1 to hit with full rerolls a lot, and that kind of stacks the math completely. You can 100% do that with Marines.
100%. I mean, you have to have a chapter master in most of these.
Yep.
Such a big deal. And then I've been back and forth on Lieutenant. They're looking for with Marines, there's a lot of different ways to get +1 to wound also. So that I'm looking for every stat buff I can possibly get to make it consistent.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we see with Iron Hands is diversity of builds that you can have based upon, am I running dreadnoughts? Am I running vehicles? And then within those diversities, right? If you're running 3 Redemptor dreadnoughts as your core build, then you just use you have your Captain Aura, the reroll 1s from the.
I would say you reroll 1s because of the army,
right? And then you get use Wisdom of the Ancients for 1 CP, and then you give them all Lieutenant Aura, and now you have this buff of reroll 1s to hit and wound for 1 CP a turn, which is fantastic efficient.
It's just layering those buffs and just getting for most consistency when you hit. I mean, also you got to figure Iron Hands have the double exploding 6s. They have the Warlord trait for exploding 6s. Salamanders have +1 to wound on Melta Flavor, and then the Strat for +1 to wound. You can just get a lot of different. Obviously, Chapter Master for everybody is such a big deal on that.
A lot of people don't realize whenever you can manipulate the dice, it's massive. Even if it's just for a +1, like you say a second ago, +1 to wound. People, when you look at it mathematically, it's only a 17% chance of more. But if you take it from a 4 to 3 and you can reroll 1s, you're drastically doing more than 17% more.
Even just 17%, though, if you're talking about a volume of shots, just starts to really add up, especially in a non-armored contempt meta, because you're hitting and wounding 17% more, and they're taking 17% more damage because of the no armor contempt.
Yeah, and then we were talking about, my last game was against Thiago from Canada, super amazing player, great sports, but people were shocked because he put his land fortress in the middle, and I killed one turn and killed the next turn, and how is he just killing these? It's well, I'm Tausept, +1 a wound, because the other thing about he still have armor contempt with him, can't reroll wounds against him, and obviously I can't use long strike because he's just gonna blink to save with his little character, but walk up,
you just have him fire him last and go, would you like to maybe use your guy to blank this cyclone?
Well, that's what I did. I just kept him. I didn't shoot him yet, for he'd have to save the blank, and I just kept hitting with other things. And when I finally got into I got a wound through finally, so I popped +1 to wound, and that crisis squad just went burp. And when burst cannons are wounding on 4s, and plasma and CIBs are wounding on 3s, it's a good time.
Good times. Well, let's just go into that then, with the title of today's cast, which is Our Future Tournament Armies. We've got Cherokee coming up. Brian, you've got a list coming up this weekend. Tom, what do you got going on? I know you got Canhammer with me, but there's stuff before that.
Yeah, but when is Canhammer?
Canhammer's the weekend after Adepticon, so there's plenty of stuff going on.
Ooh. Honestly, Canhammer might be a little bit difficult for me. I know it was the weekend after Adepticon, but I got plans if I can't go. I guess Brenton can step in.
Hold on, you're talking. You gotta stop that. Just make it happen. You make that happen, boy.
I think my next tournament is Adepticon. It's kind of hard. It's rough for me to get some tournaments a lot early on when I take a couple weekends off for big tournaments, very beginning of the season, or / end of the season as well. But I think Adepticon's nice for me. Potentially Canhammer, and then the DOG Invitational will be coming up soon. So that's gonna be an absolute bloodbath.
What are you bringing and why? What are your thoughts on why you're bringing whatever you're gonna bring?
Guard. I want to go guard right now. I played, our Discord where we do practice with other teams. I played a couple games of guard there now. I love it. Jamie took guard to the GT this weekend. I love this play style. They have tools for everything. They legitimately do. I think guard can make an all-comers list. From giving orders to your guardsmen to be infiltrators when you want, have an indirect shoot at MSU, and then being able to either give them +1 strength or give them the buff that makes them ignore indirect, basically, and having just durable tanks. Like, it's a super cool army, and it's super fun to play, and just being able to ignore wound caps. It's the first time I've seen an army in a while I feel like I can play that I don't have any bad matchups. So I'm on the guard train, baby.
Raleigh, what you got for me?
Currently I'm leaning on 2, and they're going to be dichotomy of each other, so forgive me in advance. But I wanted to learn this edition and to be a little bit more aggressive, because I have a traditional play style of playing a little bit more defensive. You come to me, and then I'm outmaneuver and try to win from there. But talking to Tom and to Brenton and others, I've decided that this is going to be the year of me trying to embrace calming people. So I'm actually doing Tau for right now. And I'm doing the double crisis in your face turn 1. I'm trying to see what I can delete, which might not be the meta to actually try this into when we're going to a Dark Angel meta with people running Remembrance and other things, but I'm going to give it a shot. Because
I like that Tom has now become a verb.
We are doing something.
I've always been a verb, baby.
So
the other list that I'm building is the Dark Angels Oops All Terminators, because I need to win something so I can show Tom that just because you don't have speed doesn't mean you can't win a GT.
Oh, disgusting.
30 Terminators walking across the board. I'll get there by 3, I promise.
I just like the sound of oops all something. That sounds like someone who went to LVO and oops all something.
Oops all something. So after oops all Carnifexes, what are you thinking about for the season?
So for the season, I've been kind of torn. I was leading between Necrons because I kind of like a build that I've got, and GSC. And after playing a few games now, I'm really leaning hard into GSC because they play a style of game that I enjoy, which is board control with a little bit of shenanigans, which I really like. But the event I have coming up this weekend, we had it in Syracuse. We had one of our local members pass away unexpectedly. He was a huge Pedro Cantor fan, and at one of our team events a couple years ago, just before COVID, I should say, he ran Pedro Cantor, and every time he lost Pedro, he would scream revenge, and it was just a big thing. So in his honor, I am running Pedro and running all Firstborn Marines, because everybody's bringing 1,000-point list. Running 3 units of Stern Guard, Pedro, some characters. He always ran a company champion every time he played. So I'm just running that in honor of the guy. So it's going to be good fun.
I love that Pedro is one of the best characters. Unfortunately, the guys he comes with are like, oh, you brought those dudes. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a fun event because it's random teams. It's for charity because he was Brian Miller was his name, was a very big dog guy. We're doing a big charity thing for donations for a local rescue, so it'll be really nice.
Nice. Very, very nice. I gotta have everybody decide my Cherokee army for me. And hold on before everybody starts yelling random armies. So I think I've narrowed it down. The wolves or hands. I'm playing salamanders this weekend. I'm getting a feel for that. And both play testing this weekend, I was kind of loving on the hands, but like the full double exploding sixes and having Kami Maltas everywhere. Also, the fact that Space Wolves could show up with a Devastator unit and it has a Terminator and a dude with a power fist. You're like, we're going to shoot you. And then these two guys are going to have a talking to you right afterwards.
Brad?
Yes, sir.
I can solve this for you right now. Because you owe me. All right? You owe me.
No, here it goes.
Brad, are you looking at my camera right now? Can you see me? Are we making eye contact?
I'm looking into your soul right now.
So we're making eye contact right now, right?
You said your soul's
I
time.
can't tell because I'm looking at my camera. I'm not looking at the screen, so I need to know if we're making eye contact.
100%.
Yes.
If you're my friend and you care about me,
Oh,
what
God.
you pulled on me, you pulled this on me and made me do something. We're not going to talk about what you made me do, but you made me do something with this card, remember? If you're my friend and you care about me, you will play Space Wolves.
Fine. Done deal. Looks like Space Wolves it is, everyone.
And that's what I was going to try and convince you to play anyways, because I really like that Space Wolf list we've been talking about.
Done. Space Wolves, mark it down.
I want Brad to show up and be a monster because Brad, if no one's seen him at LVO, he didn't eat that much. And Brad looked damn good. Like, I mean, not just in a sports jacket, but
I was playing Eye of the Tiger in my headphones the whole time. Rising up. I love it. Classic Tom guilt trip for the win.
in my defense, that's not the Tom. That ain't the classic Tom guilt trip. That's the classic Brad guilt trip. He did that to me.
So now I just got to borrow the entire army like usual. No big deal. You know what, Eddie? I'm going to make you get me the army. Between you and Sam, I'm going to acquire this thing.
And Andy, you said you pulling the card. You got to take the Space Wolves there for him, all right? Because look at, I already got my hand on nose. It's between me and you, and you didn't put your hand on your nose, so or your fingers.
I do like it. That is true. Kiara goes, you could definitely buy various BS Wolf t-shirts at every Native American casino in America. That way I could just have the Wolf, Spirit Wolf. There's no way that I can't go with the Spirit Wolf too.
I think if you play Space Wolves, Brad, with your knowledge stuff, I think you will just absolutely dominate.
We started talking about my spirit animal, and Britt goes, "You want some weed?" No, Brandon goes, "No one owns this list." True, because it is a Brad-esque list. I did effectively look at Space Wolves and start being drawn to them because I went, wait a second. Are these guys like super weird and have lots of oddball free shit they get everywhere? Yeah, I love that everybody has a Combine Melta. It feels like they were going to the thing and like the pack mom went, "Don't forget your Combine Melta, guys. Come on."
I just like it the fact, like, when you think about their long things, it's like the sergeant's mom's like, "Don't forget, honey, take your Terminator armor. You got to protect your little dudes." It's like, "But mom, honey, don't argue me. Take your Terminator armor. Be the big boy."
I'm in the spirit world, man.
Timmy, you take your Thunderhammer, and Bob, you get the Power Fist, okay?
Oh, man.
So what do you think?
I just realized I made a Young Guns reference. That might be a little too early for most people.
Young Guns is a great movie. But I want to hear your prediction, Brad. And we're going to go around. We'll go Brad, Brian, Steven. What do you guys think 3 months? Who do you think the big boogeyman is? Without including any future codexes, just world leaders and older.
Who wants to start? I mean, I always let you guys talk first because I never shut the hell up. So
we're putting you in first, Brad. Putting you on the spot.
With no nerves.
No nerves.
It's hard for me not to think that Guard's not going to be the boogeyman because as of now, dude, triple car skins plus the Russes, plus you have a volume of guys. So you always have the answer to other hordes and things of that nature. Dude, testing over the weekend. It's like I already knew what it did, but then watching them go full rerolls, popping both strats, and just going, here's 6 mortals for you. They start doing Oprah stuff. Mortals for you. Look under your seat. You're also taking AP3 wounds. And it's just, what the shit, man. That 30 of those dudes deal out nuts damage, and then you get into, oh yeah, the actual bread and butter of the army, which is Lehman Russes, 9 mortars. Just it has auto wins against so many things.
So let's dial us back a little bit. Let's say the Carskins get nerfed, because I think they're going to get nerfed. But that's the only thing I'm confident is going to get nerfed right now in the current meta. If Carskins are not there, do you still put Guard as the top?
I don't know, to be honest. They're still very, very good. They're not going to get terrible, but the Carskins really put them over the top, because they basically teleport one, jump another one out, then they out of the Chimera, then they basically, rinse and repeat. I don't know if they're still completely top of the food chain, but they're going to stay relevant and really good, even with those nerfs, for sure, for me.
Well, I have a weird question. Why is it, do you think, that over the course of the last few weeks, we haven't seen Guard go full Tyranid, right? Even right immediately after the Tyranid decks came out, we saw an immediate spike, and then it just held until the first nerfs. So right now, Guard is what?
I can tell you why I don't think this is right now.
Top tier players aren't playing them.
It's not that. There's some top tier people playing them, but
it's
both.
Well, you couldn't play them because you couldn't play them in LVO, so people weren't playing them. They weren't tested. A lot of people. I mean, the biggest event in the world was ready at LVO 2 weeks ago. So like, we had all of these people that just weren't putting in reps and games with them because they weren't able to take them, and they didn't have to play against them in that tournament, so they just didn't.
We just had a weekend, and we had a lot of Guard players, and people like Jamie and I were playing them, and they didn't have the greatest win rate, but it's a complicated army. Like, when I played my first game, I played it through TTS with XPZ. I played against one of their good players, and our game took 4.5 hours, and I'm known to be a fast player. Like, it's an army that takes a lot to play.
It's complex, and if you mess up, you can have terror. It's the same as with any army. I mean, they've got all the T3 guys all over the place too. I mean, there is the thing where if you screw up and you mess up mobility, that army can take a huge hit. You can lose 50, 60 dudes and a couple tanks in one turn if you screw up, for sure.
100%. But
I think with the return of Melta everywhere, and attack bikes, eradicators, all the marine Melta, the 800 combi Melta Space Wolves, that has made Russes not as viable, in my opinion. I just don't think. I think the lethality of the game, people haven't adjusted to it yet. I think Guard's going to just take an adjustment, and as it comes, they will reach a level. Tyranids were just too good out of the gate.
Yeah, they were also easy to play on that.
Crazy powerful.
Guard has to layer their stuff up. You have Scout Sentinels, and then you have the next wave of guys, and then you have another wave of guys, and that pushes all those Meltas away from you, and then you're shooting with the Russes. So it's a difficult army to play perfectly, but it has such a high ceiling.
Well, I got a good question here from Kyle. What is Guard's worst matchup? I want to say another Guard. That's what we don't want to play. It's another Guard.
Yeah, it's who gets to bomb who first a lot.
Yes. Whoever gets that first Carskin drop is, and because the thing is, you're gonna have the barbecue key Carskins sitting on your backboard edge somewhere trying to be hidden, and you're gonna have either maybe one in reserves or one in a Chimera.
One in a Chimera for sure.
Yeah, and if you're a madman like me, I'm only running one Scott of Carskins. I like Scions because I deep strike. I've actually took a little bit of a Brad element to my list where I have like 5-man deep strike in Scions.
What?
I'm a pretty big fan. Oh yeah, I'm still some Brad mojo on my list. But demons are horrible against Guard adaptive, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But no, it's just like whoever gets that first attack, because you're gonna mortar the shit out of their Carskins, and your Carskin's gonna hit their front lines like nothing. Because if you go first, they don't have their buffs up, so they can't push you 12 inches back. So you're gonna get so many angles and stuff. Like you can pick up all of the regular squads. All your infantry squads are just gonna get deuced out by everything.
It's just so hard to hide that many the bodies, you know what I mean? So you just kind of get the first, and also you're going to just mortar them. You're getting, 96 shots that are, buffed by Creed.
So it just depends. And adaptive. The reason why demons are horrible against guard, is because you can literally take one guy, put one of your orders on the Cadians, and say, by the way, you're just gonna ignore 12 inches of deep strike, and then that splashes 2 other Cadian squads, and you just move all 3 of those squads up the middle, and now demons can't deep strike anywhere near your lines at all. Nothing. They just have to stay away. And
Well, it's the fact that they can get around the wound cap. The Finial just flips that match so bad because of the things that would be super tough doesn't matter as much in that. And you have large enough squads that you can just push out. I mean, you can literally do it right at first with the Scout Sentinels, then you move out, then you give the order for 12-inch away. So they have to push up, and the whole time you're bombing all of those, anything they kept on board, because they have to keep some stuff on board, or you just collapse all the way back.
And the thing is, well, is like all guards with born soldiers. I don't know why anyone would ever want to go away from born soldiers, but all their shooting is just very, very good. When I put against one of the practice games, I went against Yanari, and they had that Yinkarn and 2 Cadian squads, so 2 little 65-man squads walked up and just punked her out instantly. Like,
I mean, weight of fire is just a big thing. It's huge. I want to go back to this. This was actually a really good question on this. The Death Guard with Stench Fats, you don't count as charged. So you basically don't get to activate if you aren't within engagement range.
He's probably asking because of the game this weekend for Savannah where Mr. Mark Perry had one of his bikes explode, and he chose to explode the front one, and then the Death Guard player was able to kill one of his dudes that was engaged by Gaz. Gaz no longer was engaged, and since he was in stench mass, he no longer counts as charging.
Correct, so he can't move. Because typically if you make a charge move, then you can make your 3-inch pylon, but you don't get that if you haven't charged. You just have to be in engagement or nothing happens.
It's a fantastic play by the Death Guard player in that situation.
Yep, ongoing combat, exactly. So that's a big thing. And that was a great play. Yes, I didn't see it, but yes, that's exactly how he should do it.
So we have Lyle telling us that Trevi's Discord has the top 5 in no particular order: is Guard, Demons, Dark Angels, GSC, and Eldar. I agree with 4 of those. He wants allow us know if we agree or disagree with Trevi.
I don't think that Eldar is in the top 5 right now, and I love my pointy-eared boys. They have good matches, but it's hard for me to put Eldar in the top 5 when I think they have an auto lost a guard.
See, I think Eldar could make a play for top 5. I think Demons are just out right now.
Demons are out. I think Dark Eldar have good play in the guard.
I don't know. I think Demons play really well in the Marines, though.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I ask TJ and Sam about that. How well Demons play in the Marines.
No, it's just
And that's not an attack on TJ real quick before you go on, Brad. TJ is one of the best demon players in the world. Didn't help him against Blood Angels.
yeah.
I think we are in the learning curve phase of everything with the points adjustments, the balance update, and everything else going on. We're all learning what the new meta is. There's going to be a shakeup for probably another 2 weeks before we see a clear top 5. And it's going to take something like Cherokee to kind of open our eyes a little bit more. We've had 120-ish player events this weekend, and that's the start of seeing things, but we need to see a little more.
I can see that. I mean, it's going to be, I think we've had is it all been all player placed, or did the English one played the UKTC terrain, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Which is a little bit more open than player placed. So I'm actually really curious as when we get to GW terrain, because I think that there's a lot of like nasty close combat armies that could be out there, and with all the free war gear, there's some stuff.
Do you know what is playing GW train and it's not too far away? Motor City Mayhem.
Punch, punch, pew, pew.
Yeah. for those who don't know, most of the Mayhem's coming up in May, about a little over 3.5 months from now. Last year we had almost 200 people. Great event, fantastic event. So check us out. Great terrain, great prize port, great trophies.
It is indeed. I have to give a shout out, Nurgle Matt in the house, and he did make a excellent logic jump here. He goes, Sam is a blood god, so that game was actually chaos on chaos.
Well, technically, he's not too far off fluff. Granted, I would give Sam, the title of blood god because that man loves violence, and I appreciate it about him. But technically, all Marines are chaos in a specific way, because isn't the Emperor technically like the 5th chaos god now?
Well, we've got a couple. For one, there's supposedly a Tau chaos god. So, and then we've got Vash, who is the Diet Coke of chaos gods. So, Crowley, lean to your left, not your right. You're starting to be hidden by the cow, and I refuse to take the cow down.
Oh, that's fair. I wanted to become one with the cow so I could become the 6th chaos god.
The cow god. He's more powerful than all of them put together.
Did you see that joke in the chat, the DOG chat today, Steven?
No, which one was
that? Spoilers for people. Death of Glory is potentially going international, as where there's talks of bringing on a Canadian team. I'm not going to drop the names of that team yet, but some pretty amazing sportsmanship and heavy hitters talent-wise. It's going to be a blessing for us to pick up that team if we get it. But both sides seem interested in it. We're just doing some fine details right now. But someone in Brandon Valley was like, hey, so I'm only going to vote that they can join the organization if they are followers of the cow god. I was like, well, isn't it our duty to bring non-followers to the cow god and show them the way? Because if we don't, technically we're dishonoring the cow god then.
I don't even know where to go with that.
All I know is somewhere along the lines we need to get a cow trophy, and it has to be gold. It 100% has to be gold to give our false idol to someone.
We need the moo cow. We need the dogma cow.
Or there might be a championship belt
The movies.
with a cow on it for the invitational. Just
that's
I was promised somebody was going to make a corn cow army with spotted corn guys, cow style, and that needs to happen. Minnick, are you doing this? Can this happen? I need this to happen in my life. Oh, dude, we need a cow army. Moo cows. The moo crew. Someone in the moo crew has to be doing this. And I already do like the fact that your name has been changed to Stephen Cowley. So
I'll take it.
Meta Moo Crew Mondays. Moon days. Moon days.
with our new name, man. We dropped the ball on that one.
All right, so I'm taking Space Wizard Cherokee, okay? Set in stone. Boom. Crowley is now a Tau player, and he's going to Tom it up.
Yep.
We got some GSC happening on the top of the screen. We got Tom going full guardsman, and if you're not playing Kaifus Kane, also, if you guys don't know who Kaifus Kane is, go on YouTube and watch it. His stories might be some of the funniest shit in all of 40K.
What faction does he play for?
He's a commissar.
Yep,
He
commissar.
literally has tons of novels that are written basically from his memoirs. And he's basically the most legendary of guardsmen outside of like Solar Marcarius or something. But all of it is him saying that he was trying to like run away, but then they caught him. So he just ended up doing something heroic accidentally. And that's his entire life. It's just a bunch of shit like that.
Like Magoo MacGyver.
Yeah, he's just insane. And his crew is
So
nuts.
Tom,
that he
in your
rolls
guard
with.
army, you have to send me a picture once you get some stuff painted up because I need to make you Steve the Human.
Listen, Brad. I am insulted and offended that you would assume that my army would play such a coward. Like,
He's legendary.
Even as a guardsman, I'm pushing the middle, baby.
Well, I
But-
mean, Caiaphas did solo a hive tyrant in hand to hand.
Okay, now I'm back interested. You got me back. Right?
Like I said, the dude's like a reluctant hero. He literally, his entire arc, he keeps getting into more and more crazy shit because every time someone's like, oh, we need someone to pull this off, I guess we have to get Caiaphas Cade. And he's like, son of a bitch, I don't want anybody to find out that I just want to leave. And I have to go do this new insane thing.
It was like that one episode. What was that show? Firefly. You ever seen that one?
Oh, come on, bro. Like I haven't seen Firefly. Proper nerds here.
The Jane episode where the man they call Jane.
Yeah, you know, the big statue of him.
Yeah, the big statue. He was like the man who robbed from the rich and dropped off to the poor. And you found out the reason why he dropped off to the poor is because his ship was going down and he had to throw off weight. He's like upset and he's doing anything. Like shows up there and they're like talking about he's the hero stuff. He's just pissed off because they have his money.
Yeah, you know why, John? My list has less tornadoes than expected because I realized while making my list that I didn't actually own any tornadoes, so I was going to have to find someone that had them. So, shout out to Sam. He just mailed them to me.
I could give you some Talon Masters and just rip off every bolter and put a multi-melt on there.
Modern problems require modern.
I was saying, KR's got that. I know you read all the fluff. I'm doing. If as anybody hasn't checked it out, first episode of Fluffy DOG came out. I hope you guys like it. I'd really like some feedback on it because obviously we just started it, so feedback would be welcome. I'm actually recording episode number 2 as soon as we're done tonight.
Oh, really? Wait, give us a spoiler. Who's the episode 2 about?
Can't. No spoilers allowed.
Oh, Brad, you can't.
Only the cow knows.
Well, you can't give a hint to our loyal, faithful followers of the show.
We got to edit it. It won't come out for a hot minute. This is, again, twice a month.
Just tell us the army then. Just tell us the army it's about.
It might have death in its name and corpse.
Scar.
Strong hint there, Brad.
That's a pretty hard riddle. I don't think I'm going to figure that one out, boys.
I'm really leaving you on a cliffhanger tonight, guys.
So what's the one army going into this meta that everyone's 100% like, that's not going to be the one that's going to make it to the top? What's the one army you're fearful is not going to, bring that win percentage up from the 40s?
Give me 1 second before we hit this because I see Nathan talking in chat, and I think this would be a great moment for us. Nathan was asking me questions about a Grey Knight list, and I was like, I told him yesterday, I was like, I'm not very confident with Grey Knights. I know how to beat them. I know how to build them. So I'll get Brad to talk about a Grey Knight list. So Brad, let's put you on a spot live. No preparation. Nathan's watching. What would you think would be a good Grey Knight list?
Oh, I love that. I think the Grey Knights is underrated.
Oh.
30 Inceptors, 4 strike squads. Drago, my man. You could put the either the Chappie or the Libby. You're basically looking for somebody that can just do a nutbag monomortals. Words of Power is great on the Chaplain. Then you do a Grandmaster. The Sigil's just hard not to take because you can just go deuces and bounce somewhere else. And then 2 or 3 Dreadnoughts.
Cool. So let me tell you the list he sent me, and you give him a little bit of some encouragement, maybe some tweaks if you have it, or just tell him he made a great list. So this is what he sent me. He sent me a Brotherhood Chaplain with Words of Power and Emphric Amplification and True Name Shard. A Brotherhood Librarian with Purifying Flame, Vortex of Doom, and Psychic Epitome. Kami Melta, Gem of Inukuto, and Shield of Humanity. A Brotherhood Tech Marine with Unyielding Anvil, Warp Shaping, wow, I can't read today. Aesthetic Conduit, Bolt Gun, Divination, if you know what that is.
Are you just making stuff up right now? Just tell me the units, man.
Okay, fine. We'll make it easy.
You're like, he's got an umbrella and an etherical plunger of death. You're like, none of those are actual things.
I thought you knew all this stuff. You're like,
I do know this stuff. You're just making new words up for it.
Okay. Brotherhood Chaplain, Brotherhood Librarian, Brotherhood Tech Marine, Grandmaster Nemesis Dread Knight, 2 Purifier squads, 3 Interceptor squads, and 2 Nemesis Dread Knights.
Yeah, it's fine.
Sean Rice.
I'd probably go one less character.
Hey, you guys, you all leave me alone, all right?
I mean, hooked on phonics worked for me. I mean, it's cool. It's fantastic. We should get sponsored by them now. I mean, just you really. I mean, you're reading at a 3rd grade level now, Tom. It's impressive.
Hey,
So if you subscribe to our Patreon and give $5, we will give Tom reading lessons.
Don't give me that much
live
credit.
on camera.
Third grade reading level. Give me like a 2nd grade level. They'll put the pressure on.
Put the pressure on.
It's gonna be Tao hooked on phonics, where it's going to be like aggression. Hey, GG.
I like to say aggression very much. I spell that baby all day long. Violence, God.
Can you just see him with like the
See?
pom-poms going, be aggressive, be aggressive.
And this is why Sam showed up even as late as Anna did, because he goes, "You better bet you that you're taking not just my wolves, but my models too." Look, man, I'm taking 0 of my own stuff. I feel like people already know this. I'm just gonna beg, borrow, and steal some stuff. You're like, what kind of... You're bringing wolves? I'm real excited for you to bring wolves. No. I'm bringing your wolves.
I'm pretty sure I pronounced most of those words correctly.
Just really slowly.
I was reading slowly because I'm fucking
like Steve just goes, "I'm pressing X for doubt."
Tell you're my friend, Steve.
I am your friend. That's why I'm warning you.
I'm actually pretty excited to put the wolves down. They're my first loyalist chapter that I played, and I love the fact that Lehman Russ is basically the Roadrunner because he just doesn't understand the laws of physics, so he just accepts that they don't work on him. So I feel like you shouldn't be able to cast any psychics when Lehman Russ comes back as a Primarch. He shouldn't be affected by psychics because he doesn't understand them, so he just refuses to acknowledge they exist.
Also, real quick, before we go to Brian's questions, I feel rude for us getting off track, but it led to a funny segment, I guess. Everyone making fun of me. But,
Wolf love, ooh.
A quick plug
Neuromat always has an emote for everything, and I don't even know where you get all these. Do you own like an emote company? How do you have all these?
They're built in, Brad. See, there's a little smiley face here where it says add, and you click it, and it shows you a whole bunch of emojis. You scroll through and you find them.
I don't have any of these things.
It's in chat. There's a little smiley face. All right, it's where you can type.
I don't believe you. You can make fun of me for being old now. Oh, look, I found one.
Yeah, there you go. Congratulations, Brad. And this guy used to run our stream. Jesus. How did we ever get talked into this?
I have now emoted.
Now emoted.
I love Eddie. It's called the internet, Brad.
What kind of emote is that, Brad?
Exactly. Too stupid to die. The Space Wolf motto.
But Brian, give us that question though. Before we get your question.
All right. So, what army do you feel is going to really underperform, and it's going to not be anywhere near the tops as we get into these next few weeks of arcs?
Even playing Tau. Next.
Necrons.
Probably.
I think Necrons are going to underperform horribly because the damage output of the game went up so much. And the damage output went way up, and their secondaries didn't get nerfed badly, but they got nerfed enough where they're not going to score 100 by turn 3 now. So I think they're going to have a hard time finding the win. They're going to have a lot of competitive games, but I think they're going to fall short a lot more than they were before.
Okay.
Probably.
Mechanicus. I think that a lot of people have a lot of faith in how OP or strong the Adeptus Mechanicus was when they were able to double plane it, and I think that a lot of people are going to quickly solve that if I kill the chickens, all their armor goes away, and then now you're stuck with just a bunch of AP1, AP2 shooting, which is pretty effective, but I don't think you're going to be in a good spot for being able to deal with the meta in the way that it is going to be melee focused or ranged focused.
I think AdMech's fine personally because I think the AP1, AP2 is way more effective without armor contempt. But I don't think they're going to be amazing, but I think they're going to be up towards the top, in my personal opinion.
And I think Death Guard got the biggest kick, we'll put it that way, to the sidelines out of any army.
I agree. I think Death Guard's been in a bad spot for a while. I was just joking about Steven playing Tau, even though I got the reaction from I wanted. I think Steven's going to be amazing on Tau. But I think Drukari, in my personal opinion, I hear a lot of people like Brad don't think it's going to be really, really good and he got a lot of play again. And I just don't see it. I think there's too many armies that will be okay against them.
That's it, Brad. My GT in March, I'm officially taking Drukari just to prove you wrong.
Oh,
If I had a gauntlet right now, I need an office gauntlet so I can toss down.
so you can throw the gauntlet. You got to take your glove, hit it with the white glove.
Yeah.
Listen. No. We got to make this interesting. We're going to make a bet.
Sure.
Right? So do you think, so what GT is this?
It is the Valdosta Battle Ready GT in Valdosta, Georgia.
Never heard of it. Is there any top players going there?
I mean, Art of War shows up.
Okay. Do you think you have a chance of winning with Drukari?
I'm going to win it, and when I win it, then you're going to have to suffer the penalties of a bet, sir.
Okay. So you. Well, I don't want to just say you win because win's harder. We'll say top 4. You think you can crack top 4 easily?
Deal.
Why is it top 4, not top 3? That's a very random, like.
Sure. Let's see where he goes with this. I like that.
Semifinals of a GT with a lot of big players. So you tell me what you want me to do if you make top 4, and I'll tell you what I want you to do.
Borat outfit.
No, this has to be something for Adepticon where it would be amusing.
All right. If you don't make top 4, you have to wear a cheerleader outfit for an entire day at Adepticon during team event.
I was going to do that anyways.
No, I mean he's gonna wear one. I want a short shirt, pom poms, a short skirt, everything.
Yeah, but you could put just your favorite army on that. That's lame. New thing on that. That's too easy. He could literally he could be celebrating his army. It's easy peasy. We need something fun. You know what? We're going to figure that out. We'll have people vote on it.
Yes,
on Thursday.
But I'm going with a full cow footy pajama outfit.
Oh, now that's more what I'm talking about.
And I think it should be vice versa. If he does, then Tom has to wear it.
Deal. I agree with you.
Do they make like
I will figure out how to get one.
We will just have somebody make one.
Okay. If he makes top 4, I wear it for a day.
The official Moo Crew. Oh my god, that would be so hot.
It has to be during the team competition too.
100%. Because when you're wearing your suit, I'm gonna tell everyone why you're wearing that fucking suit. You made a bet about Drukari being good and they're trash.
To go down and coach all the Tau players.
So you realize, Brad, we're gonna make this on a terry cloth too, so it's like 100 pounds, and they sweat their doozies off.
So just Marine crawling through Adepticon. It's so heavy and hot.
If I'm in that thing and I'm gonna be sweating, I'm gonna walk over and rub myself all over Brad, all over him.
Gentlemen, are watching. I need you to keep track of this because this is definitely happening.
Oh yeah, you definitely are wearing your cow suit because you're not going top 4.
All right. So we have the end of the stream as usual. My plea for monies and likes, subscribe, go to our Patreon. Let us continue to make this delightful content for all of you. And until then, adios, everyone.